They called me the family ATM while stealing my hard-earned money, until a video exposed their vacations, gambling, and lies that finally broke me. I'm Jenna, a 32-year-old woman, and I come from what you might call a complicated family situation. By complicated, I mean I'm the designated ATM for my entire family. My brother Jason, a 29-year-old man, was the high school football star who peaked at 17 and now bounces between lousy jobs while living in my parents' basement. My sister Tara, a 27-year-old woman, has 2 kids she posts about constantly on Instagram but somehow never has money for their school supplies. My dad lost his factory job 3 years ago and just never found another one. My mom spends her days watching Dr. Phil and complaining about mystery ailments that conveniently require expensive treatments. Meanwhile, I've been working tirelessly since college. I earned my marketing degree, worked 60-plus-hour weeks to climb the corporate ladder, and finally landed a director position at a decent company. I'm not rich by any means, but I make enough that I should be comfortable. Except I'm not, because every dollar I earn gets sucked into the black hole of my family's financial emergencies. It started small. Dad needed help with the mortgage after his layoff, which seemed reasonable. Then Tara's kids needed school supplies. Then Jason got evicted and needed first and last month's rent for a new place. Before I knew it, I was sending over $3,000 a month to various family members. Do the math. That's $36,000 a year after taxes going straight to my family. Meanwhile, I'm living in a cramped 1-bedroom apartment, eating ramen twice a week so they can keep their Netflix subscriptions, and go to Applebee's every Friday. But hey, family helps family, right? That's what my mom texted me every time she needed another $500 for her treatments. Thanksgiving rolled around, and I was drowning in work, trying to finish a massive campaign for a new client. If I nailed it, I was pretty much guaranteed a promotion and a decent bonus. I told my family weeks in advance that I probably couldn't make it to Thanksgiving dinner because of this project. Mom guilt-tripped me relentlessly. It's family time, Jenna. Your father will be so disappointed. The kids are asking for you. Can't you just do your little computer work another day? My little computer work is what pays their bills, but whatever. I still tried to make it work, planning to pull an all-nighter on Wednesday to free up Thursday. But then the client changed half the deliverables at the last minute, and there was no way I could finish in time. When I called to tell them I definitely couldn't make it, Dad actually said, "This family supports you through everything, and you can't even give us one day." I almost laughed. They support me? In what universe? Anyway, I missed Thanksgiving. I sent them money for an extra nice dinner to make up for it and didn't hear a word of thanks, just more guilt about my absence. Fast forward to the following Tuesday. I'm at work, drowning in spreadsheets and coffee, when I get an email from my cousin Vanessa with the subject line, OMG. I almost didn't open it because I figured it was some stupid family drama that would give me a headache, but curiosity got the better of me. The video took forever to load on our terrible office Wi-Fi. It was from Thanksgiving, the one I missed because I was working overtime on a big client pitch that would secure my promotion, the promotion that funds my family's entire existence. The video showed everyone at my parents' dining room table, turkey and all. They're a few drinks in, laughing. Then I hear Jason, "Thank God Jenna couldn't make it. Now we can actually enjoy ourselves without her boring work stories." My stomach dropped instantly, like instant nausea. Tara jumps in, right? She acts like we care about her marketing crap, like we're supposed to be impressed or something. Then my mother, the same woman who calls me crying when she needs money for her medications, raises her glass. "Well, her boring job pays for this beautiful spread, so I'll drink to that." My dad, slurring his words, adds, "To Jenna, our personal ATM. Always reliable, always available." They all laugh and toast. But wait, it gets better. Or worse. Jason says, "You know, she actually believes we need all that money." Dad grins like a little kid. "Got it docked at Uncle Steve's lake house. She thinks I'm paying for blood pressure meds, but I'm really making payments on a sweet little fishing boat." I'm sitting at my desk, completely frozen at this point. "What the actual hell?" Mom chimes in. "And don't forget our cruise this winter. Jenna thinks it's for my arthritis treatment." The video goes on for another excruciating minute with all of them laughing about how they've been playing me. Tara's kids don't need private tutors. She's been using that money for Botox. Jason's rental assistance is actually funding his online gambling habit. The video ends with Vanessa's voice saying, "You guys are terrible. What if Jenna finds out?" My dad, still laughing, replies, "She won't. She's too busy working to notice. Besides, she likes helping family. Makes her feel important." Important? I felt like I was going to throw up. The email from Vanessa just said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I meant to send this to my therapist to show what I've been dealing with in this family. Please call me." Yeah, right. I didn't call. I couldn't even speak. I barely made it to the bathroom before I lost my lunch. The rest of the day was a blur. I smiled at coworkers, nodded during meetings, and even gave a presentation that apparently went well because my boss complimented me afterward. But inside, I was just watching those moments on a loop, our personal ATM, the boat, the cruise, the Botox, the gambling. 3 years, over $100,000. All of it a lie. I drove home in a daze, pulling over twice because I couldn't see through the tears. But by the time I got to my apartment, something had changed. The sadness was gone, replaced by something much darker and colder. I checked my phone, 5 missed calls. 2 from Vanessa, probably trying to do damage control, and 3 from my mom, most likely asking for more money. It was the first of the month after all, time for the ATM to make its scheduled withdrawals. I silenced my phone without listening to the voicemails, poured myself a drink, and stared at the wall for a long time. You know that moment in movies where the character finally sees the truth, and everything changes? That was me, sitting in my cramped apartment that I could barely afford despite my fancy job because I was too busy funding my family's secret luxuries. The ATM was officially closed for business, but closing the account was just the beginning. They wanted to play games with me? Fine. I'd show them what happens when you mess with the person who's been keeping you afloat. The next morning, I woke up with the mother of all headaches and about 20 more missed calls. My phone was blowing up with texts, too. Mom, Jenna, honey, the transfer is a day late. Everything okay? Dad needs his medication refilled. Jason, yo sis, landlord's on my ass about rent. Can you send it ASAP? Tara, the kid's tutor payment is due tomorrow. Don't forget. Not one of them asked how I was doing. Not a single how are you, or hope work's going well, or anything remotely interested in my actual life. Just where's the money, Jenna? I scrolled through my texts from the past 3 months, and it's the same pattern. They only contact me when they need cash. I felt like such an idiot. So I called in sick to work, the first time in about 2 years, by the way, and spent the morning going through my bank statements. Holy hell, the numbers don't lie. $1,500 a month to my parents for mortgage help and medical expenses, aka boat payments and cruises, apparently. $800 a month to Jason for temporary rent assistance that's been going on for 3 years. $950 a month to Tara for the kids' educational needs, aka her face. Plus all the emergencies, car repairs, medical bills, broken appliances, school trips. Like clockwork, someone in my family has a crisis that needs $300 to $500 to fix, usually right when I get my quarterly bonus. In total, I've given them $103,000. I opened my banking app and canceled every recurring transfer to my family members. All of them, gone. Then I blocked their numbers, created a new email address, and deactivated my social media accounts. But I wasn't just mad, I was furious. And when I'm angry, I get methodical. I set up an appointment with a financial advisor and spent the rest of the day creating spreadsheets. Marketing nerd, remember? I documented every penny I'd given my family and what they claimed it was for. But something about Vanessa's oops, wrong send excuse didn't sit right with me. Why would she be sharing a video like that with her therapist? And why now, after years of radio silence about my family's behavior? The timing felt too perfect, like she wanted me to see it but couldn't risk being upfront. Still, I didn't want to jump to conclusions, so I started digging. I went back through old group chats, old emails, even birthday messages, little breadcrumbs scattered, but there if you were paying attention. First red flag, Vanessa had been unusually close to my parents over the past year, showing up at every family gathering. She was also getting chummy with Jason, which was odd considering she'd once called him a human dumpster fire. Then there were the random mentions of our grandparents' lake property. The lake house technically belonged to my grandparents, but Uncle Steve had been managing it for years, handling maintenance and taxes. Vanessa had been scheming for her slice of it, probably hoping to convince everyone she'd be the perfect heir once my grandparents were gone. Casual comments like, "It's such a shame Grandma's not using it anymore. It would be better in hands that actually care," or "It's too much for your parents to handle alone. Maybe someone else should step in." At first it seemed harmless, even concerned. But then I remembered something Mom mentioned a few months back. Something about using a little extra money to cover property taxes on the lake house. Money that had come from me. Weird, right? Why was Vanessa so fixated on a property that technically wasn't hers? The more I dug, the worse it got. I found a thread in our family group chat from months ago. It started with Jason joking about my recent promotion, Jenna's moving up in the world, better time our rent emergencies. Haha. But Vanessa's reply hit me sideways. "Yeah, we should catch her while she's feeling generous. Maybe tell her it's for the kids or something. Maybe it was a joke, but reading it in hindsight, it felt more like a strategy. Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I stumbled across an old email Vanessa had sent to Jason, tucked away in an old thread. If Jenna feels guilty, she'll keep paying. Don't push too hard, though. We don't want her backing off. That was the moment my stomach dropped. She wasn't just aware of the scam, she was part of it. Worse, she was manipulating both sides, pretending to be my concerned cousin while quietly encouraging Jason and my parents to keep the money flowing. I also went through her social media and found comments exchanged between her and some old college friend. Casual back and forth, but one stood out. The friend asked if Vanessa was still trying to get her hands on that lake house. Vanessa's reply, working on it, slowly but surely. Patience is key. Vanessa knew she'd never get the lake house if I stayed close to the family. Grandma trusted me, and if it ever came down to selling the place or deciding who would inherit it, I'd be the first person they asked. Vanessa needed me out of the way, but quietly, without exposing herself. That was it. The final puzzle piece. She wasn't just helping them milk me for cash, she was angling for the lake house. And what better way to get it than to let me burn the bridge for her? All she had to do was drop that video into my lap, wait for me to flip, and watch as the family imploded. Suddenly, her fake apology in the email made perfect sense. She didn't care about the betrayal. She cared about keeping me close long enough to play her next move. She wanted me angry. She wanted me to cut off my parents. And when I did, she'd swoop in, play the supportive cousin, and help my parents sell the lake house probably to herself for a fraction of what it was worth. Vanessa wasn't just manipulative, she was a master at it, and I'd almost fallen for it. Not anymore. So I texted her from my new number. Hey, it's Jenna. Got your video. Want to talk about it over coffee tomorrow? Her response came back instantly. Oh my God, yes. I feel terrible. I'm so sorry you had to see that. Starbucks on Main at 2? Sure you are, Vanessa. Sure you are. The next morning, I woke up to a voicemail from my work phone, the only number they couldn't block. Jenna, it's Mom. We don't know what's going on with you, but this is unacceptable. Your father might have a heart attack without his medication. Is that what you want? We're your family. You can't just cut us off. Call me back right now. I deleted it and went back to sleep for another hour. Why not? I've apparently been funding everyone else's leisure time for years. Might as well enjoy some of my own. When I finally checked my work email, there was a message from Jason that just said, "We're coming to your office today. Be there." Like it's a threat or something. So, I texted my boss that I had a family emergency and needed another day off. Then I headed to a coffee shop across town to meet Vanessa. She's already there when I arrive, fidgeting with her cup and looking nervous. She jumps up when she sees me, all wide-eyed and concerned. Jenna, I'm so sorry about that video. I had no idea they were using you like that. I feel just terrible. I sit down across from her, eerily calm. How long have you known? She blinks rapidly. Known what? Cut the crap, Vanessa. How long have you known they've been scamming me? Her face does this weird twitchy thing. I just found out at Thanksgiving. That's why I recorded it. I was shocked. I slide my phone across the table. Then what's this? She goes pale as she reads the screenshot of texts between her and Jason from 6 months ago, discussing how to get me to chip in for Grandma's nursing home bills. Bills that Medicare actually covered completely. You've been helping them con me for years, I say. You sent that video to push me over the edge. You wanted me to cut them off, didn't you? Make me the villain while you slid in and played the hero. That lake house is what you're after, isn't it? She starts crying, actual tears. I'm almost impressed. Look, I say, I don't care why you did it. In fact, I should thank you for finally showing me the truth. But now I need your help. My help? She looks confused as hell. Yes, you're going to help me get evidence of exactly what they've spent my money on. Bank statements, receipts, photos, everything, and if you don't, I'll tell the whole family how you've been skimming off the inheritance money from Grandpa's estate. Her eyes go huge. How did you? I'm a lot smarter than all of you think, I smile. Do we have a deal? She nods slowly, looking like she might throw up. Good. Welcome to the club. As I walk out of the coffee shop, I check my work phone. 12 missed calls from various family members, plus an email from the front desk at my office. Your parents and siblings are here asking for you. Security wants to know if we should let them up. I replied, absolutely not. Please have security escort them out if they won't leave voluntarily. Still, the day after I met with Vanessa, they showed up at my apartment. I wasn't home, thankfully, but my neighbor texted me that my brother Jason was pounding on my door so hard that building security had to come up. Apparently, he was screaming stuff like, "I know you're in there, and you can't hide from family." Real classy. When that didn't work, they decided to ambush me at work. All of them, Mom, Dad, Jason, and Tara, standing in the parking lot like some kind of messed up welcoming committee. I spotted them from my office window and immediately texted my boss that I had a family situation and needed to use the back exit. Thank God for cool bosses. But that was just the beginning. Their emails started getting more desperate. Then the real fun started when Tara ambushed me at the grocery store with her kids in tow. I was picking out apples when I heard "Aunt Jenna" and turned to see her two boys running toward me. The kids are innocent in all this, so I hugged them and asked how they were doing. Tara came up, fake tears already flowing. "Thank God we found you. The boys have been so upset they think you don't want to see them anymore." I looked her straight in the eye. "I love the boys. This isn't about them. It's about you using their tutor money for Botox." Her eyes went wide. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Really? Because I called the learning center you claimed they were enrolled in. They've never heard of your kids." She grabbed the boys' hands. "We're leaving. You're clearly having some kind of breakdown." That night, I met Vanessa at a bar across town. She slid a USB drive across the table. "It's all there," she whispered, glancing around nervously. "Bank statements, credit card bills, photos. They've been using your money for, well, everything. Vacations, gambling, a boat, jewelry, designer clothes. Your mom got a facelift last year." I stared at her. "The $112,000 for her back surgery?" Vanessa nodded. "She went to Mexico for it. All-inclusive resort recovery package. I took the USB drive." "Thanks, Vanessa. You did good." She leaned forward. "So, about our deal? You'll keep quiet about the inheritance thing?" I smiled. "Of course. Family helps family, right?" The look of relief on her face was priceless. She actually thought I was going to honor our deal. Cute. The next day, I took a personal day from work and drove to my parents' house. According to Vanessa, they'd been having daily emergency family meetings there to figure out how to get me back on the hook. I walked in without knocking. I still had my key. They all froze mid-conversation, like I'd caught them planning a heist, which, in a way, I had. "Jenna!" Mom rushed forward, arms outstretched. "Thank God, we've been so worried." I stepped back. "Save it." I saw the video. The color drained from all their faces except Jason's, which turned red. "That Vanessa," he muttered. I knew she'd cause trouble. "Actually," I said, placing a folder on the coffee table, "Vanessa was just the beginning. This is everything. The boat, the cruises, the gambling, the cosmetic surgery, 3 years of lies." Tara jumped in, voice shaking. "You don't understand. We needed—" "No," I cut her off. "You wanted. There's a difference." I looked at each of them. "I've got copies of everything. Bank records showing where my money actually went. Texts between all of you coordinating your lies, photos of vacations taken while I was working 70-hour weeks to support you." Dad stood up, pointing his finger at me. "You listen here." "No, you listen," I said, and something in my voice made him sit back down. "I'm done. Not just with the money, but with all of you. You're not family. You're parasites." "How dare you?" Mom gasped. "After everything we've done for you." I laughed. "What exactly have you done for me? Name one thing in the last 5 years that wasn't about what I could give you." The silence was deafening. "That's what I thought," I said, picking up my folder. "By the way, I've scheduled meetings with the IRS about all the gifts I've given you that somehow never got reported as income. And Dad, the bank would like to talk to you about claiming my income on your boat loan application. Pretty sure that's fraud." I headed for the door, then turned back. "Oh, and Tara, those tutors you claimed your kids needed? I called the learning center. They've never heard of your children. The director was very interested to hear how you've been using their name to commit fraud." As I walked out, Jason rushed after me. "You can't do this. You'll destroy this family." I turned to face him. "You destroyed it the moment you decided I was worth more as an ATM than a sister." When I got home, I was shaking. Part of me felt awful. They're still my family, after all. But a bigger part felt free, like I'd been carrying a massive weight for years and finally put it down. That night, the threats started rolling in. "Jason was the worst. You better watch your back. Family knows where you live." I forwarded that to my lawyer with a request for a restraining order. Meanwhile, Vanessa was getting nervous. "They know I helped you," she texted. "Don't worry," I replied. "I've got your back." That was a complete lie. Vanessa was on her own, just like I had been. She'd played both sides for years, helping them scam me while pretending to be my friend. Now she could deal with the consequences. 2 weeks after the confrontation, things escalated again when I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Uncle Steve, my dad's brother and the owner of the lake house where they kept the secret boat. "Jenna, what the hell is going on?" Your dad told me you bought him that boat as a retirement gift. I nearly spit out my coffee. What? No. He told me he needed money for heart medication. He used it to buy a boat that he kept at your place. There was a long silence. Son of a bitch, he finally said. They've been playing us both. Turns out, my parents had been running versions of their scam on multiple family members, just on a smaller scale than what they'd been doing to me. Uncle Steve had loaned them money for medical bills too. Aunt Linda had been helping with their property taxes. Even my grandma had been sending them monthly checks for groceries. Suddenly, I had allies I didn't expect. The extended family was pissed. Several of them sent me screenshots of texts and emails from my parents asking for money with elaborate sob stories. It wasn't just you, Uncle Steve told me. They've been scamming the whole family for years. We just never compared notes. That's when I hatched my plan for Grandma's birthday party. The perfect opportunity to lay it all out in front of everyone. I knew my parents, Jason and Tara, would be there, putting on their poor U.S. act. They'd already told everyone I wasn't coming because I was too busy with work. Translation, I was a selfish jerk who didn't care about family. But I'd be there with a PowerPoint presentation they wouldn't forget. Meanwhile, Vanessa was in full panic mode. The family was turning on her hard, especially after Jason dug up some old texts she'd conveniently forgotten about, messages where she'd helped coordinate financial requests, and strategized how to squeeze more money out of me. It was almost funny. The same Jason she'd been scheming with was now using those texts to throw her under the bus, probably hoping to save his own skin. I need your help, Jenna, she texted. I'm going to lose my job if the stuff about the inheritance comes out. I left her on read, let her squirm a bit longer. A few days before Grandma's party, I got an email from Tara that actually made me pause. I don't know what's going on with you and Mom and Dad and Jason, but my kids miss you. They ask about you every day. They didn't do anything wrong. And I actually agreed. The kids were innocent. I sent her back a short response. I love the boys and miss them too. This isn't about them. When you're ready to talk, honestly, about what you and the rest of the family have been doing with my money for the past 3 years, let me know. Her reply came an hour later. I don't know what you're talking about. You're having some kind of breakdown and taking it out on all of us. Still in denial. Perfect. That would make the big reveal at Grandma's party even more satisfying. The night before the party, I finalized my presentation and made sure all my documentation was in order. As I was reviewing everything, I got one more text from Vanessa. Please, I'm begging you, don't throw me under the bus tomorrow. I'll do anything. I smiled at my phone and typed back, don't worry, I've got your back, just like you had mine. The party was at my parents' house, the house I'd been helping pay the mortgage on for 3 years while they took vacations with my money. I showed up an hour after it started, wanting to make sure everyone was there to witness the show. The look on my family's faces when I walked in was priceless. Mom nearly dropped her drink, Dad turned white as a sheet. Jason looked like he was going to puke. Tara immediately pulled her kids close, like I was going to kidnap them or something. Grandma, on the other hand, lit up. Jenna, they said you couldn't make it. She hugged me tight. I hugged her back and gave her the nice cashmere sweater I'd bought her. Wouldn't miss it for the world, Grandma, I said loud enough for everyone to hear. I just had to prepare a special birthday surprise. Mom practically teleported across the room. Jenna, she hissed, grabbing my arm, what are you doing here? I smiled at her. Celebrating my grandmother's birthday. Isn't that what family does? She was trying to drag me toward the kitchen, but I pulled away, headed for the living room where most of the extended family was gathered. I spotted Uncle Steve, who gave me a subtle nod. He knew what was coming. Everyone, I called out, since we're all here to celebrate Grandma, I'd like to make a toast. The room quieted down. My immediate family looked like they were watching a horror movie. Vanessa was hovering near the door, like she was planning her escape route. To family, I said, holding up my glass of water. I wasn't going to drink anything they served. And to honesty. I hooked up my laptop to the TV and kicked off my presentation. First slide, my bank statement, showing 3 years of monthly transfers to my parents, Jason and Tara total. $103,000 next slide, texts between them coordinating their lies. One from Jason to Tara, say your car broke down. Dad told her I need new meds. You do the car thing next month. Tara to Jason, I asked for tutoring money. Sent $500, taking the boys to Disney instead, LOL. The room went dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Then photos. Dad's new boat, bought with medication money. Mom lounging at a Mexican resort after her back surgery, also known as facelift. Jason gambling. Tara getting Botox. This is where my money really went, I said. While I've been living in a one-bedroom apartment, eating ramen, and putting off buying a home, I clicked through more evidence, credit card statements, receipts, more texts. People started gasping, side-eyeing my parents, Jason and Tara. But wait, there's more, I said. Full infomercial mode. The next slide showed they'd been scamming other relatives too. Smaller amounts, but still thousands. Aunt Linda stood up, fuming. You said you needed $2,000 for a root canal. I pulled that from my retirement. Uncle Steve, you said your car was repossessed. I gave you $3,500. It was like a floodgate opened. Everyone comparing stories of how they'd been conned. The last slide showed that video from Thanksgiving. My family laughing about me being their personal ATM. Silence. I shut my laptop. That's the truth. You all deserve to know. I walked over to Grandma. Sorry for doing this at your party, I whispered. She squeezed my hand. Don't be. They should be sorry. Then, louder for everyone to hear, I've been sending them $200 a month for medical expenses from my Social Security. Then it all became chaos. Accusations started flying, my family scrambling to defend themselves. We needed help, Mom wailed. Help isn't wrong. Lying and stealing is, I said. Dad argued, you gave us that money. Based on lies, I shot back. That's fraud. Tara sobbed about her kids. Jason claimed the texts were fake. No one was buying it. Then I noticed Vanessa trying to slip out. Oh, Vanessa, I called. Care to explain your role? She froze. I don't know what you mean. My last slide, Vanessa's texts helping coordinate the scams, plus bank transfers from Grandpa's estate to her account, about $30,000. The room exploded. Vanessa ran out sobbing. Relatives chased after her. Someone knocked over the cake. Grandma looked shocked but satisfied. You did right, she said quietly. Best birthday ever. As I was leaving, Jason cornered me outside. You're going to regret this, he growled. You destroyed this family. I stared him down. No, you did when you decided I was an ATM, not a sister. He grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise. I pulled out my phone, recording. Want to add assault to the restraining order? He let go and stormed off. On the drive home, my phone blew up. I sent them all the same text. Talk to Vanessa. She knows everything. Let her clean up her mess. For the first time in years, I wasn't bankrolling for adults. The relief hit so hard I cried. A text from Aunt Linda. Proud of you for standing up for yourself. Let me know if you need anything. Uncle Steve, the boat's gone. The bank's investigating your dad for fraud. The next day, the threats started. Jason's emails, Tara's pity posts, Dad's voicemails about destroying the family. I forwarded it all to my lawyer and the cops. Evidence, evidence, evidence. About a week after the nuclear bomb that was Grandma's birthday party, everything hit the fan officially. The bank froze Dad's accounts after Uncle Steve reported the fraudulent boat loan. Mom's crying voicemails stopped being about me abandoning the family and started being about, please don't testify against your father. Pretty rich coming from people who saw me as nothing but a walking wallet. Jason got the worst of it though. Turns out those gambling debts were to some seriously sketchy people. With no sister to bail him out, they came collecting hard. He showed up at my apartment at 3 a.m, bloody nose, begging for $115,000 to pay some guys off, or they'd break more than just his nose next time. I called the cops instead of letting him in. The responding officer told me later they found cocaine in his car. So yeah, Jason's got bigger problems than just gambling. Now Tara actually surprised me. She showed up at my office alone, no kid shields this time, and slid a check across my desk. It's only $2,000, she said, not meeting my eyes, but it's a start. I sold some jewelry, and I'm sorry, Jenna. I messed up. It was the first genuine thing any of them had said to me in years. I didn't tear up the check, but I didn't cash it either. I'm still deciding on that one. As for Vanessa, the prosecutors offered her a deal. Testify against my parents in the fraud case, or face charges herself for the embezzlement. She chose self-preservation and rolled on everyone. The family group chat is a complete dumpster fire now. Accusations, denials, people picking sides. I left it weeks ago. Yesterday, I signed the papers on my new condo. Not some far-off someday dream anymore, but mine. No one else's name on the mortgage, no one else's bills to pay. The realtor handed me the keys and said, congratulations. I just stood there in my empty living room, feeling something I hadn't felt in years, actual, real freedom. My phone buzzed. A text from Tara's son using her phone. When can we see your new house, Aunt Jenna? I stared at it for a long time before typing back. Soon, but just you and your brother. We'll have ice cream. The family I was born into might be beyond repair, but maybe I can salvage something with the kids. They didn't choose any of this. As for my parents and Jason, they made their bed. Now they can lie in it. The ATM is closed permanently.